2024 market update. Sales in the Victoria Real Estate Board region were up by 60.7% in October 2024 when compared to October 2023, with 654 properties sold. That sounds like it's a lot of properties and the market is going absolutely gangbusters, but there is some context that needs to be shared regarding that. But first, let's get into the specifics of each property type. When I talk about property types in residential real estate, I'm talking about three specific things: single family dwellings, condominiums, and townhomes. These are the most common property types that we deal with in residential real estate in the Victoria Real Estate Board region. So for single family homes, sales were up by 76.2% from last year, with 340 homes sold. Now, on the other side, with condominiums, sales were up 32.6% year over year, with 187 units sold. For townhomes, this is the smallest bracket of the market, and sales increased by 73.8% when compared to this time last year, with 73 units sold. So when we're talking about why did we see such a significant increase in sales, well, there's multiple different factors that went into this. And one of the big ones was the legislation that was passed by the government of British Columbia last year, which limited the use of short-term rentals in British Columbia and in many circumstances prohibited them if it wasn't in your primary residence. So for people in Victoria, many of the Airbnbs were in condominium buildings and were not investors' primary residence. So they were faced with a couple options: either long-term rent or sell the property. Because of that, we saw an increase in inventory levels for condominiums. We also saw a bit more government intervention in how we give notice to renters. Additionally, with this, we saw inflation skyrocketing last year, but we also saw the Bank of Canada in the midst of a quantitative tightening campaign, which we saw multiple rate increases in succession. Now, the purpose of this was to slow inflation, but also slow the real estate market, and they were very successful at that. Now that we're seeing the pendulum swing to the other direction, we are seeing that interest rates are starting to come down a little bit. What that means is it's easier for small businesses to gain loans. It's encouraging consumers to spend a bit more money. Or if you're a home buyer, making it a bit easier to get lending options accessible to you. This year, we're seeing a bit of a return to the norm. We're seeing our seasonal norms where it's a bit slower in the winter months and busy in the spring, and just a little bit like riding a wave. Whereas last year we did see slower than normal real estate trends. For key takeaways, there's a couple things here. So for buyers, we are a bit more in balanced market conditions. This means there is less pressure and more time to evaluate your options prior to writing an offer. If you're planning on buying now or a few months from now, it is a great time to consult and go through your options at length so you're well educated and can make the right decision for you. On the other side, sellers, there is more inventory on the market at this time, so it is incredibly important to make your property stand out. If you're planning on listing in the new year, whether that's January or in the spring month, get really acquainted, but also have an action plan to make yourself as ready as possible. If you have real estate questions, you can reach out to us via our website, follow along with us on YouTube, all of our social media, and our blog. If you ever have real estate questions, we would love to hear from you. I'm Kelsey Woolley with Woolley Real Estate Group here at RE/MAX Camosun. Talk soon and take care.